So we got some, you know, you talk about depth, and it's not always depth in a weight class, it's depth in your roster, and we seem to be okay there. You know, you don't want 8 or 9 guys doing the job, you want 16 or 17 or 18 guys that are capable of doing the job, and then finding 10 guys that do the job. And last year, we left some points off the board when you're talking about, you know, realizing your full firepower. And the formula isn't complicated, it's very simple. You have 10 weight classes, you want 10 weight classes scoring points.
The Big Ten Conference is always tough. If you look at the other teams' rosters and what they have coming, would you say this could be the toughest the league has been since you've been in Iowa?
It would sound like a broken record. It's irrelevant how tough the Big Ten is. You know, you look at the national duels, for instance, you know, you put 16 teams in there. If they go to this format, the 9th place team is probably in the top 16 in the country. So that shows you that there's depth there team-wise. I don't know what that means to us. What it means to our guys, they should have certain ideas in their head of who their competition is. And when you talk about individuals, now it becomes more relevant, and that was the second part of your question. So, you know, I think of Stever, and I think of Ramos right away. I think of, you know, Alton and Walsh at Northwestern and St. John. I think a heavyweight with Northwestern and our guy Bob Telford. But you don't limit it to those guys that just pop into your head, because if you had a sheet in front of you, there's a lot of things that are relevant. So the Big Ten's always been competitive. There's always been competitive individuals, and our guys, I think, thrive. I'll speak for them a little bit here. I think they thrive on that, and even outside the conference as well. You know, Iowa State is competitive. They want to be competitive, and they're going to make a big deal out of coming here, and we got to be ready for that. Oklahoma State, another out-of-conference, will mean they have a strong team, and they feel good about their team, what I'm hearing. So I think overall you're excited, and then when you get down to specifics, individuals, then you really start to get specifically excited.
About 197, anybody stepping up there?
197, Lira and Birak will go, and Birak's a true freshman. What's up? Birak's a true freshman, and depending on how that match goes, he could see action. We like Birak. Birak's he's a funny guy. We get to know him.
Did that year at the Olympic Training Center for him kind of serve as a red shirt?
That would, it's basically a red shirt without going to school full time.
But in terms of development, did he come in ahead of most high schoolers?
Out there with Zeke Jones and Brandon Slay and Bill Zadig, and he's been out there his whole life, basically, his whole wrestling career, pretty much. I mean, he grew up and went to high school there. My brother has a relationship with him from way back, you know, when Terry worked there. So, good family. It was a no-brainer to recruit him. He's got a brother out at Penn, and we had to work on that a little bit. The brother having 1 year to go out there was to our advantage because it's a tight family. And you have to ask Nathan, but I'll speak for him a little bit. I think he's in no way, shape, or form sorry that he made the choice to be a Hawkeye. And we're excited about that. He represents our program very well.
Is Dylan 100% healthy and ready to go? Peru?
You ask a strategic question there, and I'll just, with some privacy things and so on, with injuries, etc., I'll just leave that one alone.
I think you said one of your wrestlers had 0 distractions. What is 0 distractions?
0 distractions means they have their life in order. They're good socially, and they're good students, and they come to practice serious. That doesn't mean that they don't have things to work on, or they don't have a carrot dangling out in front of them that they're trying to get to. What that means is that there's a lot of common ground, and when there's a lot of common ground, good things happen. And Patrick Rhodes is a good student. He's in the engineering department, and you know, he's serious about that aspect of his life as well as his wrestling. So we'll see. It's a deep weight at 49, and Kelly looks to be strong. Mike Kelly, I'll talk about him a little bit. He looks to have, you know, here's the thing. I mean, what do you say at the press day? I mean, what do you say during the first month of practice? You know, you say the guy's going to light the world on fire. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying there's indications that we see as a coaching staff where the guy, Mike Kelly, is what I'm talking about, is doing some things that maybe he did maybe right away when he was here and then dropped off a little bit. Seems to be more disciplined with his weight going down to 149. You know, last year it was maybe not in his head right away to go down, so maybe he wasn't quite as in tune with weight class, getting down there late, etc. You know, these guys that get experience, a year's experience is huge for a freshman. I'm not saying that they can't do it or aren't able to do it, but when they don't have the season they had, which I can tell you that Mike Kelly did not have the season that he wanted, is what I meant to say. You either continue down that path and spiral downward, or you get tough and you rectify the things that held you back. And he seems to be headed in the right direction. That's always good to see.
What do you do to keep a guy like Matt McDonough hungry after, you know?
Matt McDonough, I tell you, he doesn't have to look far right now, because for really the first time, and Matt Gurley has been added some depth there at 125, returning roster member. But Matt Gurley's been up and down 125 and 133. But for the first time, really, there's two true 125 pounders that are really pushing him. And I'm not saying that they're going, you know, toe to toe with him, or it's even in the room as far as how their wrestling is, but they fight him. And I'm talking about Thomas Gilman and Corey Clark. So he doesn't have to look far to stay motivated. Sometimes it's in your nature, maybe when you're a senior with those kind of credentials that McDonough has, to maybe think that things in the room should be a little bit easier, but we don't ever want that to be the case. And I think we have some good guys there that are checking him every day he walks in the door, which is healthy for our team, healthy for our future.
The other end of the lineup, Coach, can you talk a little bit about Bobby Telford and how much he has improved?
Bob Telford, of course, the summer is important in all sports, the off season, and he had a good off season. We put him in touch with Chris Doyle, and Chris Doyle, as you know, is I call it world-renowned expertise in the strength department, and we needed to strengthen some things. If you watched his wrestling, there were some things left undone. Just because you have opportunities and you're in certain scoring holds, and then you just, for some reason, aren't able to complete those holes. You address those things mentally, address those things technically and positionally, but you also have to address them strength-wise. And we like how he's addressed those things. Again, it's not automatic. Again, we're talking about summer and into the early season, and then into a month of hard wrestling. But it's all